Okay. So, without wasting much of our precious time, we are definitely going to start with this question number 6. Trust me when I say not that much complicated, but you will be able to understand all that I'm going to explain. You just need to make sure that you try and redo this over and over and over and over and over again. So, remember, you must just make sure not to do just a few of these lessons and then you leave it there, thinking that now you understand how it works. This is just the beginning. But trust me when I say, if you can master all of this that I'm training you, you will definitely be able to do any type of a question that is related to trigonometric functions, because these are exam type of questions. So just make sure that if you can look for any previous exam paper, try to treat it, and you will see that these things that I'm talking about, they are there. So let's see, question number 6. So in other words, I'm just saying you must do all of these lessons that I've recorded for you, all of them from lesson number 1 up until the last. If there's revision, you start from the start of this topic until the last lesson. Even if it's 20 of them, you must do all of them so that I'm confident that you won't make minor mistakes, you won't be confused by anything, but you'll be knowing exactly what you're supposed to do. Yeah, my nose is blocked. I'm not sure if it's a flu or if it's because of the transitioning of the weather, but okay, I'm pretty much sure that you are able to clearly hear me. So the statement, it says the graphs of f of x equals a sine x and g of x, which is equals to cos x, that you plus it by 1, for x is the element of 0 to 360 as sketched below. So as a mathematician, you need to be able to know which graph is which. That information, it will never be made a secret to you. They will say, this is the graph of f of x. That is the formula for f of x. So you can see you've got two graphs there. Which one is for f of x? Then you will see they will write small f there to show that that line which is closer to f, it is the one which is for that f of x. And you've got this one, which is the graph of g of x. So that one of g of x, it is that one. That's how they label the function. Then you know you've got two of them. And of course, those are being drawn from 0 up to 360 degrees. So you see, you're given the formula of the graph, and then they tell you from where up to where it has been drawn. That's the information that you have. There's nothing about the period there. No, they've just given you the information regarding that drawing over there. So what they want you to do, it is to write the value of a. So you have to go to those and check, okay, where is a? A is there. And where a is, it is on that function of f. So that means you concentrate on the graph for f of x. And that is exactly where you will find your a value. What did I say about the a value? I'm sure you remember the formula by now, where I was saying a has to be half of the sum of that maximum value and that minimum value. So it's like half of what is the maximum value is 2. You plus it with the minimum value. What is the minimum value? It is 2 as well. You remember I said when you use this formula, you disregard that negative sign. And then half of 4, it will definitely be 2. So that would mean the amplitude would be 2. Remember, the amplitude, it is from that maximum value there. That would be your amplitude. That is the amplitude if you want to know where the amplitude is or how you locate it. But otherwise, you might not need to worry that much. You can just easily use that formula and then you should be sorted. So that means the graph of f, we now know what the graph of f is. It is no longer just that a sine x, but we now know that, okay, in full, it is actually equals to 2 sine of x. Okay, then it's fine. So now, what they want you to do, it is to write down the period of f. Don't worry, I've got my mask. I definitely will not infect you with my flu. Is it flu? No. Just sneezing. Not necessarily that is okay. Then it's fine. They just want you to write it down. Please, honorable member, when it comes to the period, you don't get it from there, please. That does not give you the period. It only tells you where they started drawing or where they started sketching, from where up until where. That's all that information tells you. It's a restriction to say you start from here, you end here. When it comes to the period, calculate it that same way that I've told you, where I say the period, it will have to be, because the period for the graph of f, it is that one of 360 degrees that you divide it by the b value, then the b value is 1. So that means it is more like 360 degrees divided by 1, which is equals to. So that means when it comes to the period, you just need to firstly check, is it cos or sine? If it's cos or sine, then you know it's 360 divided by b. But if it was that one of tan, it would be 180 divided by b. So I'm pretty much sure that by now you have an idea of how you get to your period. Yes. Now, 6.3, they want you to write down the range of a G. Remember, I said when it comes to the range, you've got two ways in which you can work it out. If you remember, I said the minimum value, then you just say between the maximum value. This is the first way in which you can write it down. If you don't want to write it down in that format, you will therefore say y is the element of, you do this thing of the corners. Then you will write your minimum value there. It looks like my battery is low. And then you will also write your V max in there, and then you close it with that one of a corner there. And you see, so firstly, you need to check, it is the range of which type of a function, the one for G. So you need to go to the one for G. So you see that one of G, what is the maximum value and what is the minimum value. So can you see? Then you just plug it in there. And then now 6.4, they are saying for which values of x for that same range will f of x, when you multiply it by g of x, you will get a value which is greater than 0, meaning you will get a positive value. So that means you need to go to your function. This is one of those tricky questions. You have to go to your function and check whereby f of x, it's like where you take y for the graph of f and you multiply it with whatever y value of g. You will just get a positive value because the positive value is the one that is above 0 or that is greater than 0. So that means you will go on that function and say, it looks like this is the section whereby both the graphs are above. That line must actually pass through that 180. You see there, it is where both the graphs are above. So you are having a positive y value that you multiplied with a positive y value. The results will be greater than 0. So it's almost like you have to say that's where the x values are actually between 0 degrees and 180 degrees, just like with the previous example. Okay, very quickly before I run out of battery, if it dies, I think it will be the end. If my battery dies before I finish, it will be the end. But quickly, the graph of G is reflected about the x-axis. Let's quickly reflect it. The graph of G, remember, it is that one of y, is the one for cos. Y equals 2 cos x plus 1. When you reflect it, I said y becomes negative. Nay. And then with y becoming negative, then it means you have to divide by negative 1. So that means it becomes y equals negative cos x negative 1. The negative does not only do that position of A, because here you've got two terms. So you divide both terms, that's why they become negative. And then the last part, they say, and then shifted 2 units upward to obtain H, the graph H. Write down the graph of H. So to shift it up, that means after it has been reflected, we plus it by 2 to shift it upwards. Then the graph of H, it will be h of x equals 2 negative cos x, negative 1 plus 2, it becomes positive 1. Then this is the new graph after you have reflected it and then shifted it upward. I wanted to actually show you how it reflects and how it will shift. So maybe very quickly, I'm hoping I'll manage to do it. So when we say it reflects about that, so that means it's like you're paging it. Now it does something like that. You see now, it does something like that. That graph of that. So the new one that has been reflected about the x-axis, it looks like that. Then when you shift it by 2 units upward, wait, it has been shifted by 2 units upward. Yes, then it means now it becomes what is it? 1, 2. Let's see. The graph of that is reflected about the x-axis and then shifted 2 units upward to obtain that. And then now they want you to write down the new equation of that. Yes. And then from there, after that has been done, then it means it now shifts by 1, 2, and then it becomes what? Maybe something like this. You see, I'm actually rushing now, even though it will make a U-turn somewhere up there, and then it does something of that nature. The honorable member. I'm actually rushing here, and I'm no longer confident with what I'm doing, but otherwise it's fine. I wanted to just show you how it looks like after it has been reflected. And then after that reflection about the x-axis, you then shift it up by 2 units. So just to give you an idea of what happens when something reflects and then it is shifted, even though It's not what is required of you to do. I'm just giving you an additional information there. So let me quickly run away before my battery dies, because if it does,